Welcome back, everyone. I want to get a quick video out here about magic. It seems some folks out there like to hear me ramble about magic, about things back in the day. And one thing I wanted to talk about was how when the game started, we had no idea how to actually play the game. So I just wanted to make a quick note about funny things we used to do. Here's a rule book from Unlimited. Um, there are a lot of words here, um, but yeah, one thing back when I was trying to learn the game. So the first day, I got cards. I sat down to play with folks. We just had like a giant 8-person game, and we were just kind of learning the rules from someone who allegedly knew what he was doing, and I think he knew what he was doing. But some things really. One thing that confused me was casting cost and how you had cards with the mana symbols, but then some cards had that generic mana symbol next to it. And for some reason, I interpreted that as you could pay either the colored mana or the colorless or the generic. But then as I started looking at the cards that cost like, you know, two and a red, didn't make any sense that I could. Wait, no, wait. Now I'm confusing myself here. If it was one, let's say it was one and two blue, Old Man in the Sea, right? That was one and two blue. Didn't make much sense that I could pay one colorless instead of two blue. So I don't know why that was stuck in my head. Um, but yeah, rules. You know, one of the flexible rules back in the day was also casting cards, like creatures or artifacts, on someone else's board. Like if I were to play a creature, I didn't necessarily have to play it for myself. I could play it to someone else. And I don't know why the hell we thought this was a thing, but I had one game we were playing this big multiplayer game, like 6 or 7 people, and I had a white and green deck that had 3 Eurekas in there, and that card, man, that card was great. I used to love playing that. So anyway, we start this game, and the person like next to me, I noticed he had a Black Lotus. Excuse me. So I kind of made a suggestion like, "Hey, play that Lotus in front of me. Trust me, you're gonna love it." And again, I don't know why this was a thing back then, but he trusted me enough to say okay, and he put the Lotus in front of me on his turn. Then it came to my turn. I played a land, cracked the Lotus, played Eureka, turn one. So everybody got to play stuff from their hands, which maybe wasn't such a good thing. I don't know. Opening hand, maybe you didn't have much stuff. I don't think I actually had anything relevant to play, so it was just a fun exercise. Then Wizards came out with stuff like this, like the Pocket Player's Guide, which was pretty much one of these rule books, but just had more crap in it. And I just say crap because this was $7.95. I think I got this in Canada. I mean, I know I got it in Canada. So instead of getting like for $1 more, I could have got a revised deck, I guess. Which, whoops. Anyway, I really wanted to get this because it was about magic. It was all about magic, and there was all kinds of stuff in here about rules, stuff like, oh, you know what, banding, folks out there. Do you know what banding is? Banding's not complicated. I don't know why people say that banding is complicated to learn. You just, you put a whole bunch of creatures, all of them but one have to have banding. You can assign damage the way you want when you get blocked or whatever. I don't know. It's not a big deal. It's not like regeneration is these days, which I don't think. I don't think they're printing regeneration anymore because they killed the rule on that. They just made it freaking ridiculously, hideously complicated. Yada, yada, yada. Which also, I'd like to posit the idea that rules in Magic these days are based upon Arena. So if they can't program something into the game on Arena, they're not going to do it in paper Magic. I don't know why I'm bringing that up, but I'm just saying. Just saying. Multiplayer Magic. Oh, it was another thing back in the day. So here was a big thing. Mana burn. You remember that, folks? No? You used to take damage for unspent mana. I'm sorry. You know what? I say mana just because that's the way it's always been. I know some people say mana, and then I'm trying to get it all, whatever. I'm going off the rails, folks. I'm trying to make this a short video because nobody really wants to listen to me ramble for 20 minutes. There was a lot in this player's guide for multiplayer because that was a big thing. Was trying to figure out how to play the game with a lot of people because that's usually what happened when we all got together to play the game. Just lost my drafting. Drafting was a big thing, which I didn't quite understand. Nobody really understood drafting, especially if it was like the Rochester or rotisserie drafts. They made things a little more complicated than they should have been. Now, what was cool about this was you had a collector's info here. Yada, yada, yada. Mulligans. You remember the old mulligan rule? You can only mulligan if you had no lands or all lands in your hand. Yeah, that was fun back then. And speaking of rules, I want to mention one thing was the combo of the Millennium that I invented back in the day, which I got a lot of flack for because once, I think it was 4th edition, and they started refining the rules about counters, about naming counters specifically. This blew up my combo, and I was a little sore about this, and I would die on that hill. Although realistically, I don't think I ever played it. So anyway, Antiquities. You had a card called Armageddon Clock, a 6-drop continuous artifact. Who remembers continuous artifacts, folks? Remember mono artifacts, continuous artifacts? It was a brave new world back then. You remember interrupts? So anyway, Armageddon Clock. Who's paying 6 mana for this? I don't know, but I wanted to. The combo was with Living Artifact. Okay, Living Artifact is when you lose a life, you put a counter on an artifact. Armageddon Clock says during your upkeep, each player loses life, takes damage, whatever, per counters on the artifact. Now, the original Antiquities, and it came out and revised, it just said counter, nothing specific. So this combo works, man. It works. I'll die on that hill. This combo works. But then 4th edition came out, and I think it called them Doom counters. You had to put Doom counters on the Armageddon Clock. Blew up my combo. Again, not that I don't think I ever played the combo because, well, you know what? I think I must have had a Mishra's Workshop back then. Maybe just one. Anyway, that's my claim to fame, folks. Living Artifact, Armageddon Clock. I want to kill everybody. Everybody! In Minecraft. Can I say that on YouTube? Oh, crap. Oh, man. This channel never got off the ground. All right, folks. That's about it. I'll try to think of something more clever for next time. Adios.